Wait, so what? I like it when people clarify in the comments, but what?
That ended quicker than I expected. Itachi has won this. How can you tell? Sasuke's caught under the Tsukuyomi. He's...
Wait, so he's one dude with two heads talking to himself, is what you're telling me is happening here.
That ended quicker than I expected. Itachi has won this. How can you tell? Sasuke's caught under the Tsukuyomi.
What the actual fuck? The funny thing is, I was actually going to make fun of it. I just going to pick out a random clip from the last episode, watch it, and then make fun of it and mercilessly mock the show and you for believing that. But they actually make it very clear. This is very clear what's happening when you actually pay. If you can isolate it, you're not watching an entire episode straight through, and you're not talking while you're watching it. Just watching it, it's very obvious. Like, look, he's here, and then they flip to the other side, right? Like, they just changed the camera angle, but clearly I see what they're doing now. I didn't see that before. So that's actually pretty cool. Like, but didn't spur the moment with everything's happening, and the battle is what actually matters, and there's all the drama. Like this, we've been leading up to this for so long that that got lost in the sauce. There was a My Hero character like this. It's kind of a Deadpool thing in a way. The different personalities talking to each other, talking to yourself, playing camera tricks because somebody watching this happen, they're not going to be jumping back and forth depending on who's talking. They're just going to be seeing somebody with a split face just talking, right? The effect is kind of lost. Somebody else in the room experiencing this happening, the effect's a little lost. So, I don't know. I think it's interesting. He's taken up a notch as far as, because I didn't give a shit about him before. But now I'm kind of interested in this dude. So, we'll see what happens. At any rate, here we go with episode 138. And we're going on one. 3, 2, 1. I don't know if that delay was me or the show. He is messed up, man. I'm curious what was the next thing to happen. Like, usually, typically shows don't care. Stories don't care. It's pretty boring. Neighbors show up and help you or whatever, right? But the fact that we're seeing it means it's going to be interesting, I think. There's the storm we're brewing. That came fast. Jesus. The chalk outline, I wonder if that ever actually happens, or if that's just something that's been in media for so long, everybody does it. I've never been into any real life murder scenes, but, I don't know. Because here's the thing, if they ever did it, they stopped doing it when you could take scene photographs. Because now you can take pictures. You don't need the description of where they were laying. You have a picture of where they were laying. So feels like it's about 100 years out of date. There's something about those hand gestures. They call them signs, right? The ninja signs. Something about it I really like. What, they ain't good enough for you? Oh, okay. Doesn't do you much good, does it? That wouldn't change nothing for me. Oh, he talks good about you behind your back. Well, whoop de do shit, right? If you ain't saying it to my face, it don't matter. Holy shit. He's gonna attack the water. All that just to get wrecked. They know how to set some shit up, don't they? You think it's overblown to use weather in storytelling? I'm so tired of storms are coming. And you got the clouds or something. Like say an invasion's getting ready to hit the city, right? They look out and there's storm clouds brewing. Oh boy, that's on the nose. I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I'm not talking about this in particularly because this is kind of cool. I love the wide shot with the buildings and the lightning and everything. It was a bit much, like, with what just happened with his family. He's going outside and it starts raining. That's a bit much. I don't know. I just think that maybe it's just a simple thing that, like, you get to be my age and you have seen so much TV. Because, somebody my age in 1950 had only been watching TV for 10 years, right? But I grew up with TV. So I've been watching TV for 5 decades. So, well, I wasn't watching from 0 to 10 probably. 4 decades, we'll call it. Maybe you've just seen so much TV, you've seen everything possible for them to do. That's why it blows you away when somebody comes up with something new, like Memento. Just said I'd never seen it before, so that's one of my favorite movies. Objectively speaking, is it one of the best movies ever made? Probably not, but they did something different. One of the things I love about anime is they really break the mold with a lot of this stuff. So I don't know, just it's a little overdone. I think the whole weather thing to match the mood of the characters and match the drama of what's happening. Come get some. That's the Two-Face that said that, right? I think I recognize his voice. What the hell? This is more than just the weather. This is them. Right. You're so confused. Right. There we go. They explain the weather. How's that? How's that, sports fans? They explain the effing weather. Brilliant. Brilliant. Tell you what, he had this all planned out, didn't he? I can't believe I was just talking about the weather and he actually created that shit. That is brilliant. Two-Face is good for this kind of exposition. We talked about that last time. Because these two aren't going to explain anything to each other. So you need a third party to explain it. Yep. You don't hear the thunder till after you're dead if lightning hits you. That's pretty badass. Brilliant. You got a light dragon. Or a lightning dragon. Where are you going? Hey, come here, boy. Okay, there you are. The only goal is to kill Itachi, right? Like you don't need to procure his eyes or question him. You just want to kill him. So that makes things pretty simple. Just obliteration. Yeah, whatever is happening is not what you're seeing. So I don't believe he's laying there right now. I don't believe jack shit that you show me TV show. You sound sad. Don't fall for it. That's the cheese. Now he's going to examine him with his eye. Well, no, his eye went away. Do you believe that? There's no level of proof I would believe at this point. These two are so powerful. The only way you know you actually won is if you wake up the next morning. That's about the first chance I would believe it. That's why I thought. That's what I thought. You can't trust anything, man. Nothing. Can't trust your action. Now, if he kills you, I'm not going to believe that either. I can't trust jack shit with these two, man. Now he's really mad. Don't make me go long hair. Good. No shit. Nice Attack on Titan exoskeleton. You always have one more. No. I attack when I want to attack, not when you tell me to. Right. Somebody's ripping off somebody. I think Attack on Titan came later, right? Boy, that's pretty badass. He's got his chakra armor. Don't you pity me. He's in your head. He's in your head. He's still alive. Something of the host remains. He's still effing alive. He's in you. Is this voluntary or is he just doing this? I didn't hear you acquiesce. Damn. He's on some Hydra shit. Hail Hydra. I love Stadler and Wardroff over here. Hell yeah. He took that. Jesus. You know, it's interesting though, you get these like snakes that come out of you, right? You cut off the head, there's actually blood that comes out. Or do these things have circulatory systems? Saliva? We know they have venom. It's just intricate. I'm fascinated with that shit. Like you're actually creating physical, biological creatures, even if only temporarily. I think he pissed his snake off. He'll have another snake come out of his throat. Ew. Disgusting. He's still alive. I don't trust jack shit on this show. F you. I believe nothing. Yeah, no shit. It's disgusting. I'm with you. He's been hiding. You got to win this fight first. I didn't. Oh shit. I still don't believe he's dead. This would be a nice cameo if he is, though. Thanks for taking care of this problem for me. Now I can kill you, Itachi. Jesus. Well, thanks for taking care of that little bitty problem of mine. That was too much to hold in. Chomp. You just got wrecked. He's pretty wrecked. Quit arguing with yourself. You're mean. Now what? It'd be hilarious if you had a heart attack with it, because you still have bodies, right? You can still have a stroke or a heart attack, right? Do ninja get sick? I don't know. Are you infected from within? Yeah, that's right, bitch. Now I'm just gonna blow you up. Not sure I understand what the hell's going on. As usual, right? Yeah. At least he still has some of his toys, right? You know, the paper bombs and knives and shit. Even if you're out of chakra, you could do something. Get away from me. I'm not sure he's moving of his own volition. He's moving like a zombie. I'm glad you're here, Chakra Wikipedia. I don't know. He doesn't. He seems smaller too, right? Like he used to be taller. It's like he's younger now. Nice try. That was worth a shot. But, you know, maybe running is a better plan right now. Until he wears himself out. Really? You backed yourself up against the wall. Dumbass. You're a genius. Why the hell would you do that? What's that? I can't hear you. Are you like hypnotized or something? What is happening, dude? You just gonna let this happen? I think he's about to drop dead. He doesn't seem to have any spunk left. Well, shit. Do I believe this? I don't know. I think maybe a Orochimaru inside him could have something to do with this. Maybe Orochimaru is about to take over his body with this little tiny snake, right? Yeah, very observant. Oh shit! So much for that. I thought he was coming over to take over that body. I don't like snakes, so I approve this message. Show me. I don't believe jack shit on this show. Yeah, something was up, man. What was that all about? Well, nothing else to talk about or explain, so let's bug out. That'd be a halfway decent reaction channel. Those two. What do you think this means? I'll tell you what it means. Walter White's gonna win this fight. That would be wild though. Spend 10 years leading up to like you fighting your brother. You get there and you're about to fight him. He drops dead of a heart attack. Essentially, something similar to that just happened here. They actually got some blows in though, so a little bit different. A lot of mysteries here. We're like, what the hell is this black fire? It's also odd that you get this rain when you had no rain. Sasuke creates rain, and then that goes away because his power is gone, and then the rain comes back. It's a little weird. I'm not sure I like the Two Face Mutt and Jeff routine. To be honest with you, and I think mostly it's the choice for the voiceover choice for the guy on the left. Do you think Sasuke's dead? What happened? I don't like the way he talks. It's so weak and passive. It just I don't know, man. It just doesn't. He's basically an evil creature, right? Like it just doesn't play that way to me. I don't know, but I think it's a necessary evil though because we need some explanation of what the hell's going on. Like I would have been completely lost. I was only now halfway lost. We need them explained, so it's fine. But like I would have loved to have had a different voiceover choice. Other than that, what's interesting about this, I was thinking about this because I was talking about how like I don't believe anything in the show. They've managed to hack a very complicated problem, which is you have a show designed for 12-year-olds, so you can't be too complicated. You can't be like War and Peace level of politics and intrigue, and you never truly know whose side somebody's on and what they're doing. You don't understand like half the character motivations. What like it's never explicitly described, right? That's 12-year-olds aren't gonna put up with that shit. Like you have to have things digestible for 12-year-olds. I'm not denigrating 12-year-olds. I'm just saying this is a show designed clearly for that demographic. Older people can enjoy it. We do enjoy it. I'm watching it, at my age, and I'm enjoying it. But it's designed for that demographic, which means it can't be super obtuse, super ambiguous. So that means there's a lot of like plot twist stuff you can't do because it would be too complicated, and you would have to let the audience connect the dots. And at this age, I don't know that can happen, and then they'll just be lost and frustrated and give up on the show, right? So you have to keep things simple. But if you keep things simple, how do you do plot twists that people our age can't see coming easily? Like I've always said, very bad shows, movies, books, whatever, very bad stories, and extremely good, like we're talking upper crust level masterpieces. Those two categories are impossible to predict what the plot twist, because bad shows won't forecast anything. They don't set anything up. They just randomly pull shit out of gas. Bobby's in the shower. Hey, good morning. He turns around. Good morning. He's been dead of a car accident for a year. He turns around. Good morning. And there was no setup for that because it's a bad story. So you can't predict. Nobody was predicting he was going to show up in the shower. They wouldn't have predicted he was coming back, except there's so much media hype about it. Hey, he's coming back, so make sure you check that out, right? So like we knew he's coming back, but nobody was going to predict how and why because it's a bad story. It's impossible to predict. A brilliant story, absolutely, we're talking masterpieces. Also impossible to predict because what they do is they set you up to think you see what's coming because they know you're so sophisticated, you're going to see the foreshadowing and you're going to predict what's going to happen, right? Okay, so this foreshadowing is very subtle, but they're counting on you picking up the subtle foreshadowing because they know, because they're a masterpiece, they know the brightest minds are going to be watching the show, experiencing the story. So they're counting on that. So you pick up the foreshadowing, you think you've got it figured out because you've always figured out stories because you're a writer or you're just really smart. You ingested a lot of stories, so you know how story structure works. Okay, so you pick up on all that, but they know you're going to do that, so they do the complete opposite, but then it still makes sense because it's a masterpiece. They figure out a way to take these things and spin them a different direction and go a different way that you could never foresee coming because you don't realize the genius of what that they're operating at. That's why those are impossible to predict. You think you know what's going to happen. Dude, my sweet summer child. You don't know jack shit because they're a genius. It's a masterpiece. Okay, then you have the spectrum, okay? Really bad, brilliant masterpiece. Most stories operate here in the middle. Naruto is closer to the masterpiece section. So it's like if 10 is masterpiece, 0 is bad, Naruto's at least a 7 or an 8, right? It's over there. But it's not a masterpiece, so like a lot of stuff can be predicted because they do the work of setting up the foreshadowing. I'll use an example in a different story. Breaking Bad. You might as well stop here if you don't want Breaking Bad spoilers. But Breaking Bad had this ricin, which is a white powder, and they set it up season 4. Like we're talking about early season 4. So probably 25 episodes before it's going to be used is when they first set it up. Okay, so we're going to use this up for this purpose, and then they don't end up using it for that purpose. So Walter hides it away. Okay, then you introduce a character who is an antagonist of Walter's and is eventually going to have to go. He's going to eventually have to kill her. And every time she has a meeting, they show close-ups of her teacup, and they show her putting this sugar, a special brand of sugar, which is a little bit, it's one of these like, organic ass off-brand kinds of sugar that, you can find, but they're not as common as other kinds, right? So you already know that. Sugar is a white powder. Ricin is a white powder. He's going to have to get rid of her. She puts this white powder in her drink every meeting. They do a close-up. Of her putting, why are you doing a close-up of her putting white powder, sugar, in her drink? Okay, so here, they got rice and white powder. Later, every time we get a meeting with her, and we're talking about a course of about 6 episodes, every time they do a meeting, they show a close-up of her cup, they show her putting the white powder in there. Come on, man. What's going to happen here? He's going to poison her with the white powder, trick her into putting what she thinks is sugar into her drink. Obviously. But this is a good show, right? It's not a masterpiece, but it's a good show. Now, a masterpiece would have somehow spun it some other way. I don't even know how you would do that. But you think you're convinced that he's going to put this poison, make her ingest the poison, right? You think you're convincing it. But A masterpiece would take you being convinced of that and then spin in a different direction, and then you're completely fooled. But they didn't do that, so they just used foreshadowing so that imagine like if you hadn't set any of this up, and all of a sudden she gets sick and dies. Well, how the hell did that happen? Oh, well, he poisoned her. Oh, that's very convenient. Wow, what a convenience that he knew that she put sugar in her cup. We didn't know that. So it feels like it comes out of nowhere. It feels it's a bad show. It's a bad story because it comes out of nowhere because there was no setup, right? So if you've ingested a lot of stories, if you're a writer, if you know that you have to set these things up, you're going to pick up the signs. Why are they doing close-ups of this sugar? Okay, well, poison's white, sugar's white, poison's a powder, sugar's a powder. She's an antagonist. He's going to have to get rid of her at some point. Okay, A plus B plus C. So this is how it happens, right? Every time. How, like, there's a couple of filmmaker reaction channels out there. This is how we figure this stuff out, man. It's not rocket science. It's we pick up on the foreshadowing, and then we can anticipate how they're going to pay off that foreshadowing, and that's how we come up with the predictions. Sometimes we're not even sure exactly where it comes from. It's like we're subconsciously picking up. Because you may not, I'm sure the first time I watched Breaking Bad, I didn't consciously pick up on the fact that they were doing close-ups with the sugar every time. I do remember turning to my dad and saying, hey, he's going to poison her at the rise and put in her sugar. I don't remember if I consciously picked up on it, on the close-ups. But subconsciously, I definitely did. Okay, so could Breaking Bad have prevented anybody from figuring that out ahead of time? Now, one of the things about that, you don't always, as a storyteller, sometimes you don't care if they figure it out. Sometimes you want the audience to figure it out. Because for me, it made the show better. Because I was anticipating, I hated this character. I hated her. So I was anticipating every time she's putting sugar in her mouth. Oh yeah, is this the one? Is this the one? Is this when they're going to get her? So it actually enhanced my enjoyment of the show. So I don't think it's always about the storyteller who wants to trick you. Oh, I'm mad that you figured me out. I don't think that's what it always is. I think sometimes they want you to figure it out so you can anticipate without actually holding up a sign. Hey, by the way, she's going to get poisoned. Look forward to that, kiddies. Like Stephen King does that shit. Stephen King doesn't trust us to figure it out, so he just effing tells us, right? Annoying. So I don't think they always care. So, like, for instance, with this thing with Sasuke and the first time Ichitada, his brother, plucked out one of his eyes. Do you think the storytellers were mad if we're like, we don't believe this? This is probably a trick. No, I think it enhanced the enjoyment of that. It's like, this is probably not real, but there's that 1% chance it could be, and you're kind of like, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're off balance. I think they wanted us off balance, so I don't think they necessarily care if people are figuring stuff out. But where all this relates to this show is, unlike Breaking Bad, this show has trained the audience. You can't believe what you see, ever. I don't ever believe anything I see on this effing show. So everything is suspect. Everything is subject to change. I don't know how to feel about anything. Now, I think that does undercut moments like, Jiraiya dying and some of these other situations like that. I think it undercuts that because you can't really experience the emotion because you're holding back a little bit because you don't really believe it. But otherwise, though, that's a very specific use case. Not too many people die on the show, so I don't think that comes out too much. I think that what this does is even when they foreshadow things, you can't trust it. You can't believe it. So I think it makes the show harder to predict. Because any outcome, like you can predict, you could be, okay, here's the outcome we anticipated. They foreshadowed that before that, Orochimaru, like, coming out, for instance. Like, I've been predicting that all along because I don't believe anything I see on the show. But then to immediately get murked as soon as it comes out, that's unpredictable. So in other words, they give you something you think you predicted and then immediately pull it away. So you don't know what the hell's going on. Like, you're always off balance. And I think predicting things can make you on balance and make you a little bit smug about a show sometimes and make you a little bit less engaged with the show sometimes. This show, unlike all these other shows that are of a similar quality that you can predict because they are of good quality, because they do foreshadow, they do set things up, this show is unique in that even if you predict something you can't believe it and you don't trust it. Even when they show you something you can't predict it and you don't trust it. You don't believe anything. I believe jack shit. They could both jump up next episode. This could have all been bullshit. Maybe they're trying to fool the other guy, the Two-Face. As soon as he leaves, one of them's going to jump up. Okay, well, now that he's gone, now we can really fight. Who the hell knows? You don't know because you can't trust shit. I've never seen a show do that before. Consistently. Now, I've seen bad shows. I've heard this about Walking Dead, where they do a bunch of fake out deaths. So you can't believe them, but it's not justified. In this case, it's justified because all ninja do is figure out ways to fool people. Substitutions, clones, all this, mind games that take you into the mind realm, and you can imagine hallucinate something that didn't really happen. Like, that's all they do. So any illusion, any pullback, any of the rug being pulled out from under you is designed. It's a feature, not a bug. So this show is unique in that. Like, you're never on balance. You're always off the eight ball. It's a weird experience. I would love to see this duplicated sometime, because like it's been 20 years since this show came out, and I've seen a lot of shit made since then, and nobody's tried to duplicate it. But somebody should, because it's just such a great concept.